Hello and welcome back to on the Football Zone and to a midweek review and midweek preview, bit of a weird one with the FA Cup in the middle. But first of all, reviewing the Carabao Cup semi-finals in Chelsea. 1-0 down after the first leg, but they weren't 1-0 down for long. They were 4-0 up after 42 minutes, 6-0 up after 81st minute, 6-1 up after 88 minutes, and in the end, comfortable progression to Wembley. Chelsea absolutely battered Middlesbrough. Shame they couldn't do that in the first leg, but Middlesbrough would be gutted. They just didn't really make more of a fist of it. But Chelsea on their way to Wembley, and they will face Liverpool, who drew 1-1 with Fulham, but in the end it was enough to take them through. Diaz gave them the lead in the 11th minute, and from there on you thought it'd be pretty comfortable, but Diop in the 77th minute made it 1-1, in the end Fulham gave it a go towards the end, but did they really do enough to get the win? I would say probably not. But I think they gave it a good fist of it, and they can be proud of their effort. But I think Chelsea v for Liverpool in the final was kind of what we were all expecting, and in the end it's the one we got. But moving on into the weekend preview, midweek preview, starting off with Forest against Arsenal at the City Ground. And this is an interesting one. Arsenal obviously have been on a bit of dip of form, but I think, that chance where they all went to Dubai could really maybe get their headspace in the right gear again, and provide them with some momentum. But Forest as well, I think they just need to be careful behind them to make sure they're not sucked into relegation battle, but I think this will be a tough one. I'm going to say 2-0 to Arsenal. Moving on into Luton as they take on Brighton at Kenilworth Road, and we've seen plenty of times ahead. Luton can put up a really strong fight at Kenilworth Road, but taking on a Brighton side who, have struggled a bit away from home recently. Maybe their form just hasn't quite hit the heights from last season, but I still think Brighton, the quality of players they have, they are better side than Luton. I think they will still maybe have just about enough. I'm going to say 2-1 to Brighton. Moving on into Fulham as they take on Everton at Craven Cottage, and Fulham coming into this one at home against an Everton side who've been struggling quite a lot recently, will fancy their chances, obviously coming off the disappointment of missing out in the semi-finals of the League Cup, they'll be looking to bounce back from that, taking on an Everton side. I think they have struggled a bit recently, Everton. I don't know if it's all just catching up with them, the next FFP points deduction, etc, must be so frustrating for them, and I just kind of feel like we'll see a home win here. I'm going to say 2-0 for Fulham. Moving on in for Palace against Sheffield United at Selhurst Park. And this kind of feels like a massive game for both these sides. We've seen how much Palace have been struggling lately, and a loss here really could spell the end for Roy Hodge, and it's a game that Sheffield United really have to be targeting if they want any chance of climbing out of trouble this season, taking on a Palace side. But I think if they do get the likes of Elise back for this game, Eze of course as well, it should be a game which Palace should win, I think. I'm going to say it will be 2-0 to Palace. Moving on into Villa as they take on Newcastle at Villa Park. And I think Villa, at home, maybe their season just kind of slightly tailed off a bit in recent weeks. But I think, they're still looking pretty strong. I think Newcastle, I don't know, I can't believe that they've only got one away win this season. That is a pretty remarkable stat. I think Villa at home will probably be feeling quite confident heading into this game. I think they'll definitely consider themselves favourites. I'm going to say the scoreline will be 2-1 to the Villa. Moving on then to Manchester City as they take on Burnley at the Etihad. And for Burnley, I can't really see this being a game that could really go too well for them. Vincent Kompany, of course, making his return to the Etihad, which will be a great moment. But I think Man City, on the pitch, will just have far too much for them. I'm going to say it'll be 4-0. Moving on into Tottenham as they take on Brentford at White Hart Lane. And Tottenham coming into this one, I think will be the team that will definitely be considered favourites, but Brentford just have that newfound momentum really at the moment. Obviously with Ivan Toney coming back, they need results as well, just a step away from the relegation zone. So it's a game which I don't think will be a pushover for Tottenham, but I think they will get the win. But moving on into Liverpool as they take on Chelsea at Anfield, and of course it will be the first Premier League game since Jurgen Klopp announced his departure. So it will be another emotional one at Anfield, definitely. But I think for Liverpool, they kind of need to be reminded that it is all business, because it's a game that they really do need to win to consider to consider themselves still in the title race with Man City coming charging. So I'm going to say 2-0 to Liverpool. Moving on then to West Ham as they take on Bournemouth at White Hart, at the London Stadium. And yeah, West Ham coming into this one, I'd say in pretty decent form, looking quite solid against Bournemouth side who aren't bad nick at all either. So yeah, it's a game that I think could be a really decent match, and I think West Ham going into this one probably will consider themselves favourites, especially at home. And it's a game I think, yeah, they'll be looking to get a result from undoubtedly. I'm going to say they will do. I'm going to say it'll be 2-1. And finally, moving on into Molineux with Wolves taking on Manchester United. And yeah, Wolves, we've seen in the fight that they showed under Gary O'Neill so far this season has been really, really impressive. And are we looking to continue that momentum here, really? And yeah, I think Manchester United, they're just so inconsistent. You never know from one game to another what you're going to get from Manchester United. I think that could be the case here, but we know that O'Neill's teams really are fighters. I'm going to say it will be a 1-1 draw. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow us on our socials, link in the description below for daily football news, meme and content. Subscribe to our other channels on screen right now, that'd be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace out.